Welcome back to Was, the podcast exclusively for people who don't wash the towel washes them. We are your hosts as always. I'm Nick.
I'm clean as a damn baby. And I'm Andrew.
Do you wear my underwear?
Sometimes, yeah. Well, you don't wear. You're lying.
You don't wear each other's underwear. You're lying.
It's Nick Miller's one of the best television characters of all time.
Of all time.
He's up. He's almost up there with Leslie Knope.
True.
Although
Leslie Knope doesn't have a "give me a cookie, I give you a cookie. Give me a cookie, I give you a cookie."
I know, but I think Leslie is Leslie and Liz Lemon actually is Jack Donaghy a better character than Liz Lemon? I don't know. I love Liz Lemon.
I don't know.
I've never felt more seen.
One time, it was Jack against his finest adversary himself.
Well, I think she just wrote so well for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tina Fey is just one of my heroes. It's like Conan O'Brien, Kenan Thompson, Tina Fey. Oh my God, what's his name? John Mulaney hosted the Governor's Award.
The Governor's Awards, yes.
And during his monologue, he said, and the Cecil B. DeMille Award has been awarded to this person, and this person. So no clue what this award is for at all. Because there were just like three completely different type of people.
He also read a letter from his agent.
Yeah.
It was quite hilarious.
About an audition to put himself on tape. Not an offer, but to put on tape. Yes. And you know what? He did put himself on tape.
Yes. Speaking of Tina Fey and Conan O'Brien, two little tidbits from the week. One, Conan O'Brien participated in a Hollywood Bowl concert commemorating The Simpsons, and he did Phil Hartman's Monorail song.
Fantastic.
In the full get up with the hat and the red suit jacket and everything. So find that to be very fantastic because one, God bless Phil Hartman.
Yes.
May he rest in peace. The finest unfrozen caveman lawyer that this world has ever known.
He's never stopped talking since he's gone there. He's never stopped.
But Conan O'Brien was also a member of the writing team during that season when the Monorail
he wrote the Monorail episode.
He wrote the Monorail episode. So that was great from this last week. And we learned that Tina Fey is writing a new show for Netflix that should be coming out within the next year. So
nice.
I'm always down for seeing new Tina Fey content.
Yes. She's been one of my favorite comedy minds.
Genuinely
mid 2000s.
I would say mid-aughts on. She's genuinely one of the funniest human beings on the planet.
Yeah, just effortless too. Mm-hmm. Like she just gets it. She has it. Speaking of having it, Michigan won the national championship. It's been since 1997. That was a shared title. This is our first official title outright, and it's really cool. I didn't know how to feel when it happened. I did cry because it finally did happen. I've been watching this team since I was about 4 years old.
It was very much a Ricky Bobby, I don't know what to do with my hands moment for you, I feel.
It was just, I felt like I was part of the couch. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was
a very big football postseason for Block M teams because you win the national title. I'll take 8th overall in the final standings, beating that team from Ohio who can kiss my ass.
Yeah, but I had to cheer for that team down I'm all for conference, man. Well, I mean, now the conference basically means nothing,
Conferences mean nothing now, my friend.
which sucks because I've always been like, it's for conference. It's for like, and now it
The
just
Big
means
East
nothing.
has teams on the West Coast in it now, I'm pretty sure. So
The Big East folded like 12 years ago.
it was a joke.
Okay, I'm
The
sorry.
ACC, however,
Yeah, so I
does
was
have
like,
teams
I'm from the West Coast.
from the
Cal,
West Coast now.
yeah, I believe Cal and Stanford, right?
Cal and Stanford are in the ACC, the Atlantic Coast
Coast Conference,
Conference.
Pacific Coast Division.
Really, technically, everything's on the Atlantic Coast if you go far enough, I guess.
But it was incredible. I was nervous up until about like 7 minutes left in the game. I know we went up early. I know we never trailed. Technically, after our first two drives, we would have never had to score again. But
I did have a little fear that Michigan's defense was letting up at the end of the first half, but then um, towards the end of the third quarter, that was it wasn't it was fine. the
yeah,
the defense was fine.
yeah, it's they never broke. They bent just a little bit, and you know what? They got two Penix enough to throw him off where he was never comfortable in the
No,
pocket, even
he
whenever he had
never
time.
he
Even
never
whenever he
looked
had
comfortable.
time, he was always like,
He had happy feet.
yeah,
Like if you were watching, he was routinely throwing off of his front foot.
as Shane Falco would say,
Sugar
he saw
Shane,
ghosts. He saw ghosts. Ghosts on the field?
quicksand.
Quicksand. Wait, no, they were talking about ghosts, weren't they?
He was talking about quicksand.
I know, but like I think there was a joke about ghosts.
There
Yeah.
probably was a joke about ghosts. There's
Just
also a joke about bees.
yes, bees. I don't like no bees, coach. Uh
No, Penix Jr. never looked comfortable in the pocket. I think after Michigan had gotten to him routinely in that first quarter, he just he was hearing footsteps the whole time.
yeah.
And when you're throwing off of your front foot like that for half your passes, you're gonna be offline, and the defensive backfield for Michigan was just too good.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't hurt that Michigan literally has just like I think just the best rotating like 9 guys to play those front four positions. So nobody has like crazy stats. It's just they kill you by constantly getting to you.
Sure.
So
Well, I think they have one of the most dangerous, or they had one of the most dangerous, like nickel packages.
oh yeah.
Uh,
Well,
their safeties and cornerbacks and linebackers were just as good as their defensive line.
I firmly believe that literally every single one of our defensive backs could have been a corner on our team.
Sure.
Um, because they were just like we ran a 4-2-5.
Hmm.
So and we have a nickel corner who I think is honest I in my opinion was the best defensive player in the entire country, Mike Sainer still.
Hmm.
Um and you know what? He sealed the game for us as he should have. It was his basically team on his back. I know JJ McCarthy is the one who is known as the leader, but man, Sainer still is because he was once part of the offense during the our first Big Ten championship win, and now he's been, in my opinion, the best defensive player in the country the last 2 years after being a receiver for his first 3 years.
What I like about Michigan's defense from this past year is they had a good mix of cover and press corners.
Yep.
You had guys that could cover those deep routes, but then you had guys that would step up and punch somebody in the mouth if they needed to,
Yeah.
and right at the line. So
One of the best corners, Will Johnson, who probably going to the NFL. Actually, no, he was a true sophomore, so he can't. He as good of a cover corner as he is, he's not afraid to put a shoulder on you. He
Mhm,
like
mhm.
he'll attack you on the sideline. He'll
Sure.
he'll put you through. So I'm be happy to have him back. It's going to be interesting to see what the team looks like next year, just because the offensive line is probably losing 4 players,
Mhm.
um, possibly losing our starting quarterback, losing all of our current receivers, and maybe
Possibly lose
one running
possibly
back
losing
back.
your head coach as well. So
I'm actually less worried about that.
yeah.
Not as worried as Alabama is about losing Nick Saban. And like I feel bad for anybody who takes that job
Oh, it's
next.
yeah, no, you couldn't pay me enough to
I
take that
hope
job.
they're okay. I hope they do okay. I still don't like Alabama. I hate Alabama fans. Maybe this will dwindle a little bit of the Alabama fans, just a little bit. Uh, but and I said this I think on TikTok, just with Michigan, just let us be like let us gloat for like a week.
Sure.
Let us just be obnoxious for a week. We've wanted we've needed this for a long time.
You all did not get to do that because the coaching carousel of the NFL slash college decided to be
The next day, yeah.
real weird just after you guys won.
Yeah. Literally,
Uh,
like nobody's talking about this championship anymore, but it's
no,
fine. I'm
it's
okay with it. It happened. Everybody
it's
else has to deal with it.
73-year-old Pete Carroll's no longer going to be coaching the Seattle uh, Seahawks.
Seahawks.
It's Bill Belichick's 24 seasons in New England has come to an end. It's oh my God,
Nick
Nick
Saban after
Saban has
17 years.
retired.
I hope he becomes like the governing body who controls like he's talked about dealing with NIL and everything
Yeah.
like that. He's talked about like the solutions for it, and it'd be awesome if he stays within the sport a little bit. Not like what's his name, not like Urban Meyer who needs to be on TV with
Oh,
uh but Nick
sorry.
Saban is would be the perfect person to help manage college football because I think he understands the game, the current game with the younger players, that current model. I think he could refine it really well.
Every time a bell rings, Urban Meyer is hitting on a 17-year-old at a bar.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yes.
You're welcome.
We'll just edit that out. It's fine.
I can. Don't want to, but it's funnier with the allegedly.
Yes.
Uh, but yeah, okay, sorry. Let's move on. Let's talk about movies. Nick, have you watched anything recently? I mean, obviously if it's a 2020, oh, by the way, we're going to be talking about our favorite 2023 movies. We're going to start our list on today's
Yes.
episode.
Um,
But what have you watched?
so, in preparation of Echo coming out on the Disney Pluses, uh, I went ahead and rewatched season one of Daredevil,
Okay.
which is still mind-blowingly good.
Yeah.
Uh, it's apparently officially a part of the MCU timeline
Officially
now.
now, yeah. As
Uh,
of whenever Echo aired.
yeah, so weird things have happened in the multiverse, everyone. But uh, Daredevil, like when I think back to that Netflix era of shows, even though I thoroughly enjoyed Jessica Jones season one and the first season of Luke Cage, the Defenders was okay, and Iron Fist was terrible, but I
Danny
don't know
Rand,
if
man.
I don't know if there was a better superhero show. And this is including like Loki season 2, which I thought was phenomenal.
It
Loki
was.
season 1 was phenomenal too, but
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a better superhero centric show that has ever been shown
Then
uh,
that first season.
than that first season of Daredevil.
I
Uh,
agree.
it's
It's
shot
brutal.
immaculately.
Yeah.
Just the cinematography is beautiful, but the story is well crafted, and there are just literally moments throughout that first season that like haunt you.
Yeah. It has a very distinct tone and it's almost cut kind of like a comic book. Like some of
Mhm.
the lighting that they use is
Sure.
specifically to make it look kind of like a comic book
Mhm.
page.
And I
which
think
was
it
really
was
cool.
excellently cast as well.
Yeah,
Like Charlie
Charlie,
Cox is fantastic as the Man Without Fear.
Vincent
Uh,
D'Onofrio,
dude, as Kingpin is just I don't know if
Michael
that could
Clark Duncan. That was great.
have
Like
sure.
he fit the look really
Yeah.
well.
But Vincent D'Onofrio is absolutely menacingly fantastic in that show. But also Foggy and Karen are both
Yeah,
fantastically cast.
I was a bit sad that they didn't come back for the next for the return.
Yes, I am too. But you can't have everything, I suppose. But yeah, that first season, absolutely fantastic. I rewatched some movies from 2023 uh, beforehand over the last couple weeks, and some of them moved up my list, some of them moved down, some of them moved off my list. So, um, yeah.
I'm
What about
I'm
you?
mainly going off of recollection for my because I've only seen two of these movies twice uh, on my top 10.
I can say there is only there are only two movies on here I've only watched once
Okay.
on my
Uh,
on my top 10.
but but right before Christmas, I watched a movie that came out in 2019 that I had never seen before. But it starred Skylar Gisondo, so I was in.
Okay.
And I was mad that I had never even heard of it. It's a Christmas movie, kind of like a Jewish Christmas movie, and
Okay, I'm in.
uh, but it takes place vaguely in the 80s, and it's just about this kid from this family who has like a drug like a family store, but Skylar Gisondo, of course, he wants to go to like art school or something like that. He wants to kind of leave in the whole thing, but he's very close with his family. Joey Pants is in it, and he has a really great scene. Like everybody loves Joey Pants. As I wrote on my review, "Come for Skylar Gisondo, stay for Joey Pants." Uh, but it's just a lot of fun. That's He invites this one girl who's back in town, and she's going to a Harvard. She's going to an Ivy League school. I can't remember if it's Harvard or not, but and it's just kind of this whole love story with them. It's played by she's Madison Eisman. She's in the Jumanji movies.
Mhm.
She's the girl that Jack Black plays.
Okay.
Uh, but I love her. I like a lot of movies I've seen her in. I've really enjoyed. I think she's in one of the Annabelle movies. I think she's in
Mhm.
Annabelle Comes Home. But I've liked her in a lot of things that I've seen her in. But yeah, really good. Addison Timlin has a really like heartbreaking scene near the end of the movie. Uh, it's a really like it's a movie that I'm probably gonna watch every Christmas now.
Oh, awesome.
I really enjoyed it. It's called Feast of the Seven Fishes, and they
Mhm.
talk like it's centered around this dinner that they do every year, where they cook seven different like fish dishes.
Oh, okay.
So, and then I went and saw Night Swim, the first major 2024 release. It's what's it called?
Schlock.
No, it's not bad. It's Amityville horror set in a pool. Like it's not bad. It's not bad. I like Wyatt Russell. Carrie Condon's really good. The kids really do a really good job. It's kind of a like it's not an isolating movie. It feels like they kind of use the props from a movie that came out in 2023, but it was all right. It's like yeah, I liked it. It was good. It built tension really well. You know what? The people around me, the jump scares got them, and that's all that matters. Like it really got them.
Mhm.
Uh, so that's all that matters. And then I finally watched Paddington, the first one, for the first time. Uh,
Ah, okay.
I liked it a lot. Like had anybody told me that like Sally Hawkins like wasn't a big part of this movie, I would have
Mhm.
watched it sooner. I love Sally Hawkins. I've just got like a weird thing for her. And then I'm happy we're also in this cartoon character Nicole Kidman era. There's a couple like people who are like in their like cartoon era. Like Hugh Grant is kind of in a cartoon era right now too. He hates it, but and he's addressed it, but he's kind of in a cartoon character era. But yeah, it incredibly charming. Loved it. And then I watched a split timeline movie. Um, I'm not going to give too much away because I think you might like it.
Mhm.
It's called Coherence. It came out in 2013. It's just about these people at a dinner party. A comet flies over the Earth at that time, and basically we kind of get different timelines mixing. And I think you might like it more than I did, but I got it just a little bored with it. Like I felt like it was a great idea. It was just clunky. Just couldn't get into it.
Gotcha.
So
Okay. I'll have to check that out. Is it streaming somewhere?
I believe that one was on Prime.
Okay.
But
Check it
it's called either Prime or Hulu.
out. Okay.
Uh
Coherence.
yeah. I didn't love it a lot, but yeah.
Going back to
Like I'm
Skylar.
gonna
Oh, go
rewatch it,
ahead.
but I don't know. I
Gotcha.
wasn't in love with it.
Going back to Skylar real quick. I don't know if you saw, but it's been announced he's going to be Jimmy Olsen in Superman Legacy,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
which is slated to come out in 2025. So good for him.
Yeah, I love Skylar Gisondo is just one of my low key favorite people. Uh,
Mhm.
I think I originally started the Righteous Gemstones because of him, and then obviously the right like he's barely part of it, but he's
Yeah,
the
but he's really freaking funny in it.
he's the best part of Santa Clarita Diet, and that's
Hmm.
hard to say because
Timothy Oliphant,
Timothy is so great
Nathan
in that.
Fillion.
Drew Barrymore's great in that. It's an
You mean
incredible
the
show.
scab Drew
I
Barrymore?
know, I know. I don't want. I don't like giving her a lot of credit. We need to have time away from her for a little bit.
Yeah.
But but I love Sam. Like regardless of the issue, like
Yeah.
there was a prompt on Twitter. Like if you could bring back another show for another season, what would it be? Santa Clarita Diet.
Yeah. No, Santa Clarita Diet was awesome.
Yeah, I love that show.
But I also love Timothy Oliphant and
Yes, he's.
Nathan Fillion.
I think my major like guy crush if I'm being completely honest.
I think
It's not
he's
even like a
I
crush.
think
It's
he's
just like
Conan's major guy crush too. So
I don't even think it's a crush. I think it's just like I'm in awe of him. I
yeah.
don't know what like like I want to feel like he feels like he that all that confidence that he has. I
I
want
mean, he he is amazing in pretty much everything I've seen him in. I mean, the Hitman movie was not good, but he was good in it. Uh, he was great in Deadwood. He was the best part of Live Free and Die Hard.
I love that
Santa
movie.
Santa
That was
Clarita
actually
Diet.
that was the first Die Hard movie I saw too.
Um, Justified, City Primeval. Like I know those aren't your kinds of shows by any stretch of the imagination, but he is amazing in it. The Girl Next Door.
Yeah. Oh,
He's
I
great.
got it.
He's great in that movie. He was fun to watch in the couple episodes of The Mandalorian that he was in. So like, I just really like Timothy Oliphant.
Same here.
So
He is undoubtedly one of the best Conan guests too, just because
oh, by far,
he fucks with Conan so hard.
every single time.
Yeah. But Conan also just has like a slew of just like great guests.
Yes.
So all right, Nick, how about we take a quick break and then we'll get into our top 10.
Break time.
Nick,
Yeah.
what
Sorry, you terrified me.
you want to go first or should I?
Sure, I'll go first. Why not?
Perfect.
All right. So as Drew
Remember,
told you,
I use the term highfalutin to
highfalutin.
describe my lists.
That is
to you
correct.
earlier.
You
I don't know what
did.
it means.
I have
Uh,
no idea.
So I'm
Okay.
very anticipative, like ready to hear your list
You're
because
ready to hear it. Yes.
mine is so highfalutin.
Yes. as
So I
Drew,
I urgently wait for
yes,
your 10.
as Drew pointed out, we are doing our top 10 films of 2023. Uh, Man, I'm just gonna jump right in. My number 10 film, I got to watch it a couple different times with the kids, and absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. It's streaming on Paramount Plus, and that is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
I watched that for the first time starting last night and finished it today.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love me some Chris Pine.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Seriously, could watch him fart in a snare drum, and I'd probably be entertained by it. Uh,
I mean, well, he'd probably come up with an entire scenario where he'd be like, I mean, I can I can fart on the pillow if you want me to, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I was trying to figure out how he would
yeah,
come
how
with
he would, show.
approach farting
Yeah.
on a pillow.
Um, no, it is a fun movie that's uh, an easy watch. It's got Chris Pine, who is just fantastic in it. Uh,
Justice Smith,
Justice Smith is funny as hell in it.
I've been impressed with Justice Smith for a couple years, man.
Yes.
That guy works, and
Yeah.
he's never like he showed up in like 4 movies in 1 year, and that was a bit excessive. But the thing is, Willem Dafoe does the same thing, and you don't
Yeah.
get mad. So I figured, why get mad at Justice Smith? He's getting work.
He
Uh,
was fun in Detective Pikachu, is all I'm
yeah,
saying.
but
Uh,
I like him in this. Michelle Rodriguez is fun. I wish I don't know how
Hugh
to say it.
Grant.
Yeah, yeah. I was he'll come up today.
Yeah.
But uh, I don't know this kid. I'd never watched Bridgerton, but I like Reggie. I think this is how you say his name, Reggie John Page. The
Rajejon Page.
yeah, I enjoyed his character and his
Yes.
banter with Chris Pine. So I kind of wish they had gotten a little bit more with that. I like Sophia Lilith. No,
I was
Lillis.
that's who I was getting. I thought Sophia did a fantastic job in it, but
I also love the fact that she's an owl bear too.
yeah. But no, the draw here is Chris Pine and Hugh Grant, in my opinion.
Yeah, directed by
Um,
John Francis Daly and
yeah.
written by, which is
Uh,
cool.
and you don't have to enjoy Dungeons and Dragons to like the movie, but for me, I played Dungeons and Dragons for many years. My oldest is getting into it and having me run a game for him and his friends here in the very near
You're
future.
gonna DM?
Yeah, and
Nice.
it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Um,
There's
and
a lot of inside jokes, but it
yeah,
doesn't deter you from
no,
the funness of the game or the movie.
yeah,
It's just like,
and
hey, if you know it, that's funny,
yeah,
but maybe this will make you want to learn it.
yeah. And we should be getting more of it. Chris Pine has talked about there being a sequel, so
I'd be
perhaps we'll get more in that world.
yeah. Oh, also, the main villain, played by a who's Sophina, that red wizard
Mhm.
or whatever.
Daisy
That's
Head.
Daisy Head. Do you know whose daughter that is?
I do not actually.
He either goes by Anthony or Tony Head. Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, holy crap!
He
From Ted Lasso as well.
uh and she also has a sister named Emily Head, who is also in the show The Inbetweeners.
I love the In-Betweeners.
I always go on IMDb like deep dives, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, who's that? I know the last name Head. Obviously, I recognize the word Head. Well, there's Anthony Head.
Oh,
And but yeah, it was just like, oh, that's Tony Head's daughter.
yeah.
Um,
Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as well as our favorite dickhead from Ted Lasso.
yeah, I mean, he contributes to one of the best scenes in the entire show.
Absolutely.
That dart scene.
Yeah.
He's
Barbecue
pivotal. He
sauce.
sucks, but he's pivotal to that scene.
Barbecue sauce.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
my number.
I really enjoyed this movie. I
Yeah,
liked it.
that's my number 10. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
That's great.
What do you have at number 10, sir?
All right, I talked about this movie whenever it came out. I love this movie. I've only watched it the one time. I was almost immediately crying from the get-go and almost never stopped because by the time it would get to the levity part, it would go back to the sad part and I'd be crying all over again. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
That is my number 9 movie.
It's the most heartbreaking movie I've ever watched in my entire life. I don't know if I can watch it again, but it it
I've watched
was
it twice now, and somehow I think I cried more in the second time than I did the first time.
I don't I haven't had a feeling like just I'm very sensitive to like animal cruelty. That's like one of the main things that I can't really watch, and the entire story behind Rocket's backstory was heartbreaking. With Floor and excuse me, Lila, Teefs, and Floor.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the it hurt so bad watching this movie. But the thing is, you also got really great performances. Like even like as stupid as he was, Will Poulter is incredibly funny in the movie as Adam Warlock. Um, you get an incredible performance out of Bradley Cooper. Uh, Chick Woody, Woody was fantastic. He's like the best villain I think the MCU's ever had.
The
Uh,
High Evolutionary.
he was incredible. Palm, I love Mantis is just in
Genuine,
general
in general, and genuinely
one of
fantastic.
my favorite characters. I love the way Palm plays Mantis. Of course, Dave Bautista's Drax, really great. Karen, it's it's a great movie. I love that movie. It's so like I want to watch it again so bad, but I just know I will be a wreck. But man, it was fantastic.
No, oh, yeah, I'm not big on animal cruelty by any stretch of the imagination, so that's always tough to watch. But
Yeah. But if it wasn't great storytelling, though,
and that's the thing, like James Gunn just knows how to formulate a story.
yeah,
Like even in
and
his quote unquote lesser movies,
yeah,
they're still enjoyable to watch because there's care put in crafting a story.
yes,
And I think what helped Guardians of the Galaxy 3 be as good as it was is pretty it's pretty much in its own corner of the MCU. Like there's not a whole lot from any other MCU storytelling standpoint that presses against it.
yeah.
Um, it's not canon
Thor a little
fodder,
bit,
if you will.
Thor a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm just saying, like,
I'm sorry, not to step on your whole thing.
it's
Sorry.
it's not canon forward.
Yeah,
Like the Guardians kind of happen in their own little corner,
corner. Yeah,
which helps with the storytelling because you don't have to worry about what 27 other
what Ant Man's
characters are
doing.
doing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, though technically, probably should be caring about Ant Man, especially considering the whole quantum realm and everything
Sure.
is probably going to be more important going forward.
Well, maybe
Oh
or maybe
well,
not because
I mean,
Jonathan Majors is
at least just one movie
yeah, yeah,
that one or two more movies that need to address it.
yeah.
Because
So
well, maybe if the Fantastic
mhm,
Four do address it through
yeah.
the quantum realm, which I think that's the easiest route, but Marvel doesn't always go the easiest route.
I don't think Marvel knows what they're doing right now, considering they have one movie coming out in
I'm
2024.
okay with that. I'm
I am
okay
totally
with that.
fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
As
I'm
long
just
as we
saying.
don't get another secret invasion.
I think so bad.
God, I mean,
If we were making a bottom 10 list of things that came out in
we
2023,
don't do that.
that would be like
Close.
1 through 5 somehow. But we don't do that. You're right. But no, I'm with you. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was a fantastic movie. It made me cry the first time. It made me cry the second time I watched it. it is an emotional roller coaster, and I thank you, James Gunn, for giving us this ragtag team
Yeah.
and kind of setting it up for future adventures because that team at the end
Yeah,
is
the
going to
new
be a fun
Guardians.
team.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Rocket, Groot, Kraglin,
Kraglin,
Cosmo, Adam, and
the little
then
girl.
Blurb,
Yeah.
the little girl. Yeah, Phyla, I believe.
Uh sorry to bring this down, just like it is the most heartbreaking thing in the entire world when Rocket's first sentient word is hurts.
Oh,
That was it. Like I think the tear ducts just opened
yep,
at that moment and never let up.
that is correct.
But those tears are good because it means you feel something.
Yep,
Uh,
absolutely.
but yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, it was so impactful to me this year. Just like
On
it was insane.
on the list of Guardians of the Galaxy movies, like 1 through 3, and we'll include the holiday special there. Although I think I know where that one probably
I
ranks for
do
me
enjoy.
at least.
I like it a lot more than two. I don't particularly like two that much. I've only
Okay.
watched it like once or twice, um, but I do love the first one a lot, and I'll say the first one just because that's just like the most flow movie ever. Like
Mhm.
it just like it flows perfectly, because it's just like if
Mhm.
everybody like figured out their character pretty much immediately, except for Karen Gillan, but that's
Yeah.
fine, because that character needed growth. But yeah, everybody kind of figured their shit out perfectly in that first one. So I'm gonna say 1-3 holiday special too.
Okay. I think it's 2, 3, 1 holiday special for me. Although none of them are bad. Like
Oh, none of them are
all
bad.
of them are very good.
Yeah.
So um, I think it was just the length of the holiday special. Like
Yeah.
I wanted more of it.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That makes sense.
But you know what? We got like I feel like that's as much movie as you would get with like just completely Dave Batista and Palm Clementieff
Sure.
working with each other. So I
Sure.
think that runtime is technically appropriate,
Sure.
but you know what? We got it. We got like it's a movie with Palm, Dave Batista, and Kevin Bacon for the
Yes.
most part, and
I will say
it's fun.
two. I will say two had the best soundtrack.
I think one has the best soundtrack.
One soundtrack is fantastic. I'm not taking away from it. All of them have great
I don't
soundtracks.
remember a single needle drop in the third one, to be honest.
Crazy
Too,
on
bu-
you?
too busy crying.
Yeah. But yeah. So my number 9 was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What was your number 9?
All right. The second, I think the second major motion picture. Uh, she played Midge this year in another movie that we're going to talk about probably later. Uh, starring Barry Keoghan and Jacob Elordi, Rosamund Pike, Richard E. Grant. It's fucking fantastic.
Oh,
Written and directed by Emerald Fennell, who I fucking love. Saltburn.
I got to it so late, and I think that's why it didn't make my list.
That's fine.
I need to watch it again, but no, it is. We just talked about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 being a roller coaster. Saltburn is the Tower of Terror, is what it is.
It really kind of is. That's actually a really good
They
analogy. Like,
pull the lever, and all of a sudden, David S. Pumpkins is there.
yeah, I mean, and it's going up and down. Like you're literally just kind of figuring the whole thing out. I I figured out Barry pretty quickly, and I knew exactly where he was going after a certain scene. After something happened, like you saw the movie, right?
Yes.
Okay. Whenever it's after the scene on the park bench at night where he has no issue,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
and it's the next day they're at lunch and she leaves
Hmm.
and he excuses himself and you think that he's going to go with her. I
Yeah.
can't think of her name. Venetia. Whenever Venetia leaves the lunch table, you think that he's gonna go kind of console her, but he has kind of other things in mind. He sees an opening instead of going to help her. I've kind of figured him out. Like I knew exactly what the plan was after that, and it was great. I think he he figured out what he wanted
Sure.
and really didn't stop. Uh, I think he was constantly ashamed of his past life, and that's why, like, he just never related to them, and that's why
Mhm.
he hid that entire life from because it just wasn't. He never felt like he was them. He felt like more, which I can kind of understand, but I, man, he is a cerebral character threat in that
Oh,
movie,
absolutely.
and I love him. He's not going to win any awards for this just because this year was pretty stacked. But
Mhm.
Barry Keoghan at least is getting the nominations. I think he'll probably get the Academy Award nomination as well.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Again, I don't think he'll win,
Yeah.
but 100%.
Oh, the Golden Globes were great. Besides the host, uh, I
That that would be correct.
I was commenting on it. Like I commented on my TikTok as well. It's a he was not the that's not the right fit.
No.
And I could have told you that like and I came up with a solution and I think it's a great solution just in a couple years. Just bring back James Corden just to host award shows, just to host the either Golden Globes or Emmys. Give him one of those. Keep Kimmel on the Academy Awards.
Mhm.
Maybe sprinkle in Corden for the Tonys every once in a while if he's doing some Broadway or some West End stuff. But bring back James Corden. That's his audience. It's his audience.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think my first choice would have been Gerard Carmichael coming back. I think I loved him
Mm.
last year,
I
but
say bring in John Mulaney to do it.
yeah, but and I think that's kind of the path now. Honestly, after the Governor's Award, because he's
Yeah.
already done the Independent Spirit Awards before with Nick Kroll. I think I think Mulaney is a I think Emmys. I think he's more Emmys guy, don't you think?
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I mean, I would love to have Amy Poehler and Tina Fey come back
Oh
and
God,
do it
yes.
again because they were fantastic. Uh, I think I'm done with the Ricky Gervais, even though he won Best
Oh,
Comedy.
how? Oh my God, how?
Well, I mean, it's a. I was actually thought it was perfect because as soon as the category came up and I looked at the list, I went 16 for 21 on my picks.
Oh wow.
Or no, I think there's 19 categories or 16 for 27, I think. Um, and whenever Jim Gaffigan was the one who was presenting, I was like, you know who the person who should win best stand-up comedian is Jim Gaffigan. And whenever Ricky Gervais was not there to accept it, he said, I accept this on his behalf. That's almost poetic
Yes.
because Jim Gaffigan is undoubtedly the number one stand-up comedian in the world. Like in the
Sure.
world right now, it's like him and like Russell Peters.
Ah.
He's one of those guys who's just huge everywhere. But yeah, I love Saltburn. I think Saltburn was
No, Saltburn, like I said, is absolutely fantastic.
yeah. I assume
I
it
just
didn't make your list.
no.
Go,
Great. Just
go.
just couldn't place it on the list.
All right, Nick. My number 9 was Saltburn. Your number 9 was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What is your number 8?
My number 8 is kind of an off the wall pick here. It's one that I just watched recently. It's one of the 2 films on this list that I've only seen once. Uh, it is about a shoe brand and
Oh, okay.
and one
Still
of the
haven't watched
greatest
it.
athletes of all time, and it's Air.
Still need
Uh,
to watch it. I know
and
I'll like it. I know I'll like it.
just a just a ridiculously good cast. You've got Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, obviously, Viola Davis, Chris Tucker. Um, you know, you've got a blues.
Jason Bateman,
Yeah.
Chris Maloney, I believe, as well. Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of the movie, and I like it. I forgot. I completely forget this is a 2023 movie. It must have came out early, but I like it a lot. It's directed by Ben Affleck too.
Yes.
Chris Messina, not Chris Maloney. Chris Messina. I apologize.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, this it from what I've seen, I've really enjoyed it. I seen like I think just the very end, like the last like 10 minutes,
Mhm.
which I enjoyed. But no, please talk about it as much
No,
as
it's just it's very well done. It takes you through the kind of the infancy of the Nike basketball brand.
because
They
they were
were
track shoe.
yeah they were a running shoe. That was their bread and butter. Um, they were just their basketball division was getting ready to close, and all of a sudden Matt Damon, who is kind of like a brand ambassador, basically, uh, is trying to figure out who they're going to try to sign as a brand partner in the NBA draft in 1984, and nobody's really serious about it on the team. And after watching just a ton of video, he realizes like Michael Jordan is the guy. Michael Jordan, like we have to put all our eggs in this one basket. And it's just the story of how Nike changed the
Propelled.
game. Well, changed the game as well. Michael
Yeah.
Jordan was the first athlete to get a percentage of his sales.
Yeah.
Uh, like so for
Oh yeah,
every
I saw that bit. Yeah.
Air Jordan that was purchased,
He would get a cut.
a percentage of that would come to him, and it shows how if the movie is to be believed, how instrumental his mother was in that deal being done. So Viola Davis is only in the movie just for a few scenes, but she's electric in it. And Matt Damon's the draw here. Matt Damon spends the most time on screen.
Yeah.
Matt
He has a
Damon.
he has a great time in another movie later that will be talked about later,
Yes.
where he is
Uh,
the most Matt Damon we've ever
yes.
gotten.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, it's a fun, entertaining movie about a shoe brand of all things. But it like hypes you up. You're like, yeah, yes, I
Love
want to.
Cap.
I love capitalism. It's it's
It is one of those movies, and you're like,
yes, it's
dang it,
like
it got me.
it's like the Top Gun Maverick
Yes.
of shoes. Uh, it's it's
To be
schlock,
given
but
that
it's just
accolade,
great schlock, you
to be
know.
given that accolade, if that's the dream.
But yeah,
It's kind of like Starship Troopers, where it
yeah,
is that, but it's just like,
yeah.
oh no, you got it wrong.
That's what I want. I want 15 years from now,
A
somebody like
think
that was
piece.
a think piece on how the movie Air was actually about the destruction of capitalism, and how everybody got it wrong at the time. Just so like all those people who watched Starship Troopers back in the day, and 15 years later was like, "You're watching it wrong." They're like vindication.
I love movies.
Movies. So yeah, Air is my number 8. My number 7 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
Hey, that's my number 8.
Hey, sweet. All right.
I mean, I've been scared to go outside ever since. I mean, I don't want to get milked. Okay, and then they get milked. It's the funniest. It's like the greatest payoff. Like
It
it's like
is
the weirdest payoff
weirdest
that you.
payoff ever.
And you know what? It's sad just because it is animated. I think I made the point during that episode whenever it first came out. it's sad that an animated role is, I think, Jackie Chan's best performance ever, because I really think it
Right?
is. He's fantastic in it.
Oh, he's so good. Um, I mean, we also know that we're getting a sequel to it. Obviously, we are. I mean, come on now. Um,
Also, how thankful are we that like somebody like Seth Rogen, who gets it, is in charge of this right now. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are in charge of the turtles.
they get it. They grew up during the Saturday morning cartoon boom, when the Ninja Turtles were on our screens every week.
Yeah,
They
when
know
Chuck
what.
Lorre wrote the theme song to the TMNT song that we all
Mhm.
know and love.
Yes. Um, I
Donatello does machines.
Yeah. When the evil Shredder attacks.
Sorry, I heard the song earlier today. I was just like, Donatello does machines.
Yeah. It was probably from that TikTok I sent you with
Oh, was it?
the play set, the like collector
Oh
set of
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
layer.
yeah. Thank you.
um, but yeah, you've got Seth Rogen uh, as a great Bebop, by the way.
Yeah.
Ice Cube as a
Oh my god,
fantastic Superfly.
Superfly was incredible.
Ayoade
Paul
Berry
Rudd,
as April, Paul Rudd
you,
as Mondo
Mondo
Gecko.
Gecko, yeah. But also the four kids, I loved them. I thought
I
they were
was getting ready
great
to say yes. We had actual teenagers
for the first time.
as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was fantastic. Um, let's not
And
forget Rose Byrne though,
oh
as
yeah,
obviously the
good night,
greatest alligator in the history of alligators.
good night, mates. Just just no change in any the Leatherhead. Like it is one of my favorite, like, I think platonic relationships in Hollywood, and they made a show about it earlier this year.
Yes,
Platonic with Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen. I just love that they have a great relationship with each other. I think it's
yes,
just
and
like
they're
it.
absolutely a perfect combo.
Yeah,
Like it is so fun to watch them together,
they have
even
great
in this
chemistry.
form. Um, so yeah, I, my, Mutant Mayhem is just
It's
a
fun.
fantastic ride. It is ton of fun. It's 90 minutes, 90 100 minutes of just pure unadulterated memories and like good feelings.
It's the closest thing that I can compare to a Scott Pilgrim type movie.
Mhm.
And I think that's like one of the greatest compliments I can give. Uh,
I would say, it may be number 7 on my list, number 8 on yours. But when it comes down to it, I think out of the list at least, it's the only perfect movie of the year.
I think there's two other ones for
Mhm.
me. One is next. For me, unfortunately, I do believe it is perfect, but unfortunately, I felt more about other movies this year.
Gotcha.
But
And that's the same thing for me, for sure.
and also everything's objective. Like this is my
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect you to like love Saltburn as much as I do.
Yeah.
Once again, I also feel like Saltburn just pulled back a little. I feel
Yeah.
like it could have gone.
It could have gone it
Maybe
could have
the
gone harder in
restraint
the
is
paint.
part of the art. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I wanted to be a little bit more debaucherous.
It
Um,
could have gone harder in the paint for sure.
yeah.
Well, what's your 7 then?
All right, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Nick,
Ah!
all right, like I said, I think this is a kind of a perfect movie, and I hate having it at number 7 because its first movie was my number 1 a couple years ago. It's a this is a sequel, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I hate putting it at 7.
Jesus, man, that is 4 on my list.
I'm sorry. It's
Holy crap.
Nick.
I
My
I
this year is interesting for me.
yeah. I personally thought this was better than the original.
I get that. I
I
do.
just for me personally, I thought Across the Spider-Verse was better than the original.
And Into the Spider-Verse. And
Yeah.
you know what? This Across the Spider-Verse has so much happening, and I feel like I'm genuinely scared of of Jason Schwartzman's character, the
Mhm,
Spot.
mhm.
Like he eventually got to a point where he's legitimately terrifying.
Yeah. I'll give you the two scenes that make me believe that it is better than Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay, hit me.
Scene one is just pure fun. It is when Spot finds out after he kicks himself into himself.
Yeah,
He finds out that his spots take him to other universes, and he goes to the Lego universe, and his head pops through, and the blocks all fall off. And then he goes into the Venom universe. He's like, "Oh, this is you act like this is some isn't anything new." Um, so that's scene one that I think elevates it. Scene two is they are on the train thing
yeah.
in the hub world, if you will, the spider hub world, and
They're traveling upwards, right?
they're traveling upward, and Miguel is going after Miles,
Yeah,
and
with the entirety of the Spider-Man
and
army.
and Miles he's like, but I just lured all of these spider people away from your lair.
Yeah,
And he busts off the train and flies past all of them. And the animation from the beginning of that chase to that moment is just spectacular.
yeah. And it's
And
like
that scene where he jumps down the train and leaves all those spider people behind, and like the animation there and the music, like the needle drop itself, like that's just goosebump inducing filmmaking.
I agree, and I love that scene a lot. And man, everything building up to that scene too, with the like the music and the editing is just like
Mhm.
doing crazy things, and just like
Top notch.
it's making you feel like nervous, like
Mm-hmm.
constantly feeling like you're about to be caught as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the only problem I have is none of those other spider people can jump off. It's like they're
I get it.
I know, and like there's no reason to bring that up, but I literally just thought of it. But
Also,
it's
that
fantastic. It's just like it's just I mean, it's also Oscar Isaac. It plays that character so well, and Miles having to navigate, like trying to figure out every single different type of Spider-Man that he's up against, trying to get through. And obviously he has like a moment with Peter B. Parker in that little like kind of like closet area,
yeah,
where he says, I wouldn't have
a kid if it
her.
wasn't for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's like Jake Johnson delivers a hell of a scene there
Mm-hmm.
to Shamik, who I think is so great. And Haley, we haven't talked about Haley, like her entire
Haley's so
universe
good.
and her entire story, because she's the one driving most of it at the beginning. Man, like what a way to start the movie.
And then I think the payoff of that ending that's also a cliffhanger
Yeah,
is also super great.
yeah,
Um,
but like
I mean, I saw it coming.
we know a little bit
We
more about that, but like I
we
think
knew it
that's
was
gonna
coming, but
yeah
when when he gets into that universe and the colors are different and he's tied up after being taken there by Aaron and like runs into himself. You know,
yeah
the
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 Prowler
guy who
there.
was supposed to be Spider-Man in that
Yeah,
universe.
but he took
Um,
his spider.
yeah, that was a really good payoff and, like I said, a great cliffhanger because really we have no idea where Miller and Lord are going from there. Like
Yeah,
I have my ideas. I know what I would choose to do, but they have such an innate ability to make films
yeah,
that subvert expectations.
yeah.
That this literally could go anywhere.
I have some ideas.
Yes. But no,
Which
I respect you for putting it down where you did. I understand. This yeah,
yeah, Spider
weird
Verse.
weird year for movies.
Yeah, I mean the fact that Spider Verse is my number seven, it's your number four.
Yeah.
So
What do you have at 6?
you know what? There's been a lot of discourse about this movie, and you know what? I love it. I was waxing poetic about it a couple weeks ago. I don't know what, like I mentioned the director earlier for
Mm-hmm.
Paddington. It's Wonka, man. I loved Wonka. I loved Wonka.
No, I have not had a chance to see it yet. Um,
I
like
one of the
everyone
criticisms.
that I have spoken to who has seen it has enjoyed it.
Well, it's an interesting musical. Like I said, not all the songs hit. I like them a little bit more than most people. But some of the other criticism I've seen was, Timothy just never like you never see him like fall into Wonka. It's just like he's the popular kid in the High School Musical, which I kind of get, but I really enjoy the movie. It's
Mhm.
just whimsical and fun. And now that I've seen the first Paddington, I'm like, okay, I get
You
what
get
this
it now.
person does. Um, so I loved Wonka. I think Timothy's great. Once again, Sally Hawkins is in it. That's all you got to do to get me there. Keegan Michael Key's constant fat joke in the movie, which is a bit sad in the year 2023.
Hugh Grant.
Yeah, Humongo Grant, of course, it's his real middle name.
Oh,
There's also a couple names in there as well, but Humongo Grant. Uh, it's a lot of fun. I like the movie. I love Olivia Colman and Tom Davis as Bleacher and Scrubbit. Uh, I just genuinely love the entire movie. I think it's just a ton of fun, and I
and it
can't
doesn't
wait.
sound like we get that asshole Grandpa Joe. So
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
I can't wait. Like it's the one movie besides my number one movie of all these movies that I just want to go watch again.
Awesome.
So I really just love watching this movie. It's just a fun
Good.
watch for me. I love
Excellent.
Wonka. So all right, Nick, let's cap it off. What's your number six?
Oh, I went back and forth with this one, whether it was going to be my five or six, and ultimately, after rewatches on both of them, I decided that this was going to be the number six. Um, Takes place in a world of movies that I have enjoyed for most of my life. The remake that came out in 2014 was absolutely brilliant. And this one, although not to the heights of the 20, or was it 2017? Excuse me. Um, Regardless, Evil Dead Rise
Okay.
comes in at number six for me.
Oh, it was
Uh,
2013, by the way.
2013. Thank you. Uh, Although this does not rise to the heights, pun intended, rise to the heights of 2013's version, I still think this is a fantastic horror movie. I think it is a fantastic Evil Dead movie. It holds true to the tenets of what made the original and Evil Dead 2 especially good, um, without breaking the formula. Um, I also enjoy all the characters in this movie. Um,
I think
I
Alyssa Sutherland as our big bad in this movie. I think she played the part perfectly.
I think she kills it in this. Uh, it's it's a great and new take on a trusted formula. You
Yes,
know, instead of a cabin in the woods,
it's an apartment
it's
building,
it's an apartment building in the
apartment
middle of a
floor.
freaking city.
Like yeah,
You know,
yeah, in the
um,
middle of basically Los Angeles.
yeah. So, uh, and the practical effects that were put into it are stellar. Now, some of the CGI was a little lacking, in my
It's
opinion.
just
I
the
think,
end. It's mainly just the
yeah,
end.
I
If
think
you forget
that's
about the very
yeah,
very end, I think it's great.
yeah. I think that's why it was at number six instead of number five. To be honest with you, um, but yeah, I think it is. It was one of my favorite horror movies of the entire year, and this year was a really good horror movie year.
It was I think so. I only have technically you could count two movies as horrors
Hmm.
uh on my list, but this one unfortunately did not make my list. I do really enjoy it. I love the fact that Lee Cronin really who's the writer and director. I think he found a place in the world for this to exist as well in other areas. I think the like I said, I loved Alyssa Sutherland like being this new face for this movie. I think she captured it well. She really took the ball and ran with it.
Great Deadite.
Yeah. Uh, and Lily Sullivan, I think she was a good final girl with the little girl. I actually really loved the little girl. She didn't annoy me,
Mhm. Yeah,
as some child actors in horror movies can. She did not annoy me too much, so that's always a plus. I can justify a lot of the stuff, especially with like Danny like being drawn to the book and to playing the records and stuff. It's an evil presence. It's drawing Danny to do all that stuff. It's magic. And also I think like at least the beginning, I think it really it puts us in that original cabin place, but it really immediately takes us out because it gives us what we want like almost immediately. It has a cool as shit title card,
oh yeah.
and then it takes us like it gives you like, hey, this is we know what Evil Dead is. We know Evil Dead usually takes place in a cabin in the woods. We gave you that in the first 10 minutes. Let's go do this.
Do something cool now.
Yeah. So
Um,
I respect this movie a lot.
no word on whether Lee's going to get a sequel or not. I at least I
I'd be
the
willing to bet.
I would guess it did very well at the box office. It was a really low, costing movie.
Man,
I
they advertise the crap out of
advertised
this
the
movie.
crap out of it. I still wish we would get a follow up from Fetty,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
I don't
I
think
would love to know what Mia's doing.
I
I'd love
just
to know what's
don't
happening.
think it's ever going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. Uh yeah, I love Evil Dead Rise. I think it
Yeah,
was fantastic. I was a little too hyped for it and it just didn't live up to my original expectations, but you know what? It's still a good movie. I'm happy it exists.
sure.
I love the new location. I thought that was great. Um and you know what? They gave us plenty of good like Evil Dead type scares. Came up with some really good creative stuff.
And
With
the
the
Necronomicon is still freaky as hell.
Yeah, it's great. I really really want like a copy of like the Necronomicon from the 2013 version.
I would probably shit my pants every time I looked at it.
Yeah. Well, I want the like some of the
Like
pages
turn a
like
corner and it's just sitting there and then, oh no.
you can get some of the pages and they're framed. I want the one where she's like self like burning themselves. I
Mm-hmm.
want that one real bad. Tells you a lot about me.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, Evil Dead Rise number
Yeah,
6 for me.
I love Evil Dead Rise. I'm happy it made one of our lists. But Nick, remember, highfalutin.
Highfalutin. Yes.
That's probably the name of the episode.
God.
No, I got to come up with a good pun. I got to come up with a good combination of things. But because like my one true good skill is coming up with a decent. That's like my one good skill. A decent title name. That's my.
Decent highfalutin title.
All right, Nick, you want to recap your list real quick, and then I'll
Sure.
recap mine. You can go 6 to 10 or 10 to 6. It does
Sure,
not
sure.
matter
We'll
to
go
me.
10 to 6. 10, Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. 9, excuse me, 9, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. 8, Air. 7, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And 6, Evil Dead Rise.
I'm gonna go 6 to 10 just to
Oh,
be different. My number 6 was Wonka. My number 7 was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
which
Number
is also
8.
my number 4.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Yes. Meant to mention that one. Number 8 was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. Number 9 was Saltburn, and number 10 was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So we have a little bit of overlap.
Yeah, we do.
Three.
I
Three so far.
guarantee you we've got quite a bit. We've got at least 3 overlapping in the top 5.
Probably.
Yeah. So
Like I genuinely think after looking over it, 2023 was a pretty good year for movies.
it was. It was.
You know what wasn't really a great year for movies? Our last assignment that I've been stalling on for
Yeah.
1996. I can't find myself motivated to watch most of them.
It was not good.
It's not a good year.
Not a good year.
It
We'll come
has
back
some
to it
bright
though.
spots. Well, it has some
We'll
bright spots, but
we'll
man,
come
I'm
back
just
to it.
like so discouraged with that list
We'll,
because
we'll come back to
it's
it.
not fun.
Maybe. Not good though.
You
So
got to
there's
do
the
it.
moral of the story.
I'm just gonna not have a lot of movies on there because I just don't care.
This is going to be a top 3 list.
Oh, I got 10, but it's just like I just don't care about
Begrudgingly
about
have a
some of the
top 10.
about some of the good movies from that
Yeah.
year.
Oh, all right. Well, that's our bottom 5 of 2023. We will do our best to be back next week to give you our top 5 list. Um, in between the now and then, please follow us on social media. You can find me at Superman's underscore Papa on the hellscape that is formerly Twitter. You can find me on Instagram and Threads at in underscore Irvin23. And you can find the show at was underscore the podcast on X/Twitter. Drew, where can they find you?
You can find me on X, Instagram, and TikTok at AndrewLZ.com. And you can find me on Letterboxd at just AndrewLZ. And yeah, I've been a little bit more active on my TikTok. I'm not active on it, but I'm always retweeting things on X.
I
And
have not done a single TikTok. I look at TikTok like daily. I've not put out a single video.
can I talk about one movie that I saw that I know that's not going to be on either of our lists, but I
Sure.
really just I enjoyed it. I saw Anyone But You,
I've
the
heard it's a cute movie.
with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell.
That's just a dynamic
I
duo.
loved it.
That's just a dynamic duo, man.
I did go through so many moments of saying, God, this movie's awful. I love this movie. God, but I just said I love this movie more times than I said, God, this movie's awful.
I bring back the rom com, man. There's nothing wrong with a good rom com.
Nick, this one lets you know, hey, we know this isn't serious. Like in 5 minutes, like 5 minutes in, they're like, guys, this is the movie that we're going to give you.
Just have fun with it.
Buy in now. It's
Buy
like
in, have fun.
I'm not kidding. It's the only true slapstick in the movie. But damn, if they don't like, not kidding. 5 minutes in, I'm just like, no matter what, I'm in for this entire ride. And you know what? I loved the fucking movie. I loved it. I
Listen.
can't. It's also one of those movies where I really can't wait to watch it again.
I've got no problem with it. I want to see it. During the Christmas season, I rewatched Just Friends, which I think is one
Oh
of the
yeah,
last great rom coms to come out. And I feel like I mean, that movie wasn't a masterpiece. Like there was nobody saying Rosebud at the end, for Christ's sake. But it's a ton of fun, and it lets you know in the first 5 minutes what you're getting into. Is all I'm
yeah.
saying.
Nick, I just want to let you know beforehand, before you see the movie, just like get onto whatever music platform you have
Mhm.
and just prepare the Natasha Bedingfield, okay?
Oh,
All right.
okay. Yeah.
Just because no matter what, you're gonna want to listen to something Natasha Bedingfield right after.
Deal.
But just get it ready.
Prepare yourself.
Yeah. And then just go for the ride. All right, Nick, I love you.
Love you too,
I'm
sir.
gonna let you get away.
Peace, my friend.
I think I'm gonna go see Mean Girls or The Book of Clarence.
Go see the Book of Clarence. I've heard it's amazing.
I know, and I'd have to get there like right now.
Okay.
All right, Nick, I will see you next week, next Tuesday.
God.
He left.
He died.
All right, Nick. Bye.
Get vaccinated.